Everybody, loads and loads of people are showing interest in this book, right? But loads and loads of people are asking me what's in the book. So it's a really good point. So what I thought I'd do is just kind of show you a little bit about it and maybe go through a couple of the pages and just show you, sort of what's in it and what type of thing can you expect. And you can make up your own mind really then about what you want to do like. Um, and if you do have a look at it and you do buy it, I hope it helps you, right? It's not a massive book. It's more like a really handy guide. Like the last thing I wanted to do was hit you with like tons of information. I don't like that myself, so I've kind of got to the point, right? So I'm going to skim through it, and then I'm going to get to some of the meat and bones of the book, right? So we've got an introduction, what we're going to do, what we're going to explore, some of the NVQs it covers. It does cover all the NVQs, both City and Guilds and EAL versions, right? We're going to explore all the NVQs because the units are all basically the same. So I haven't like listed every unit. So for example, if you're on the 2357 and you're talking about health and safety, I haven't called it unit 311. If you're on the 2346, I haven't called it Unit 102. I've just called it Health and Safety because it's all basically the same, right? So I've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible, this book, right? It's not about the level 2 or the level 3 diplomas at all. It's just about the NVQ performance units, the on-site assessments, okay? And I tried to write it as if I was talking to you. I'm not an author, I'm not a writer, but I can communicate. So I've tried to just write this in plain English so you can understand it. And loads of people just get the criteria and they go, "What the hell is this? It's written like the regs book." That's not what I wanted. I just wanted this in the simplest format I can, right? Um, I've given you a little bit of information about what you need to enroll onto the NVQ and qualifications that you might need to get on to the 2357 to the experienced worker NVQ. And I've put the test chart in there as well because I thought that was a really handy resource. Of this chart tells you what qualifications that you actually need to get on, for example, the experienced worker NVQ. So that's a good bit of information there, right? I've given you some information on assessment methods. So what type of assessment methods are available. To you. This is the main ones. There are some more, but they're not really worth doing. And the type of assessment methods I prefer doing. Um, and it's a big paragraph, and as you can see, I put through that was a lot to digest. It is, but you can take your time and you can read it, and you can help yourself, right? So the sections we're going to cover are health and safety, organize and oversee, functional technical information, planning and first fix, second fix and terminate, testing and fault finding. They are the units that's covered in the book, and they are the units that's covered by the NVQ, right? And then it just lists the units, and I tell you a little bit about each unit before we get into it. So what the unit is all about. So you can sort of have a really good idea what is actually being expected of you. Now, this is the beauty of this. What I have done is I have listed the actual criteria, right? And I have listed for you what is actually written like in the jargon speak, and then I've tried to translate it into plain English and given you examples, right? So I'm going to give you a few examples of that now, a little sort of behind the curtain taster. So if you are thinking about buying this book, you're going to have a good idea of what's inside it, right? So the first one being then, I'll just go into the first one. Sorry, guys, my buttons. So the first criteria, the way they've written it, right? Identify which workplace health and safety procedures are relevant to the working environment and comply with the duties and obligations as defined by the current legislation and organizational procedure. Okay, this is you demonstrating how you comply with working safely. Simple as that, right? It's just it's just examples of you working safety, what PPE you're wearing, the general site, right? That's all it means. The next one is produce a risk assessment and method statement in accordance with organizational procedures for a given work activity. Okay, so they're looking at a job and a risk assessment and a method statement and a safe system of work. So what I've written, how I've interpreted this for you, this is you producing a risk assessment and method statement and explaining what it is and how it is relevant to your working environment. For example, here you will need to explain the 5 steps to a risk assessment, what they are, and show a good knowledge of this document. Also, you will need to explain what a method statement is and how it differs from a risk assessment. So that's the jargon speak. That's kind of how I've broken it down, just telling you, you need to produce the risk assessment, a method statement. You need to explain how many steps are in it. You need to explain what the difference is between a risk assessment and a method statement. I think I've nailed it really in terms of breaking stuff down, right? So I'm just going to move on to another unit now, and we'll have a little look at that, right? There's a bit of information on some legislations and stuff there. Technical information, I'll just pick one at random. What have they written here? Implement suitable procedures to confirm that work is being completed in accordance with health and safety legislation and industry standards. Um, Sometimes this is a good example of evidence crossing. So we would have covered something like that in the health and safety unit, and they've asked for it again in this unit. So all I'll say to that is I've given an explanation of what it means, but if you've already covered it in the health and safety unit, you won't have to cover it again in this unit. So I'll pick a different example now for you for this one. Select effective procedures to ensure coordination with other workers, contractors, including steps to resolve issues which are outside the scope of your job. So, evidence of you talking with workmates, other trades, and supervisors and clients. Explain what the conversation is about. Think of an example of an issue. For example, a clash with a plumber about the location of a fuse connection unit for a boiler, maybe, and how did you resolve it? So, they're just looking how you deal with issues with other trades, and you just explain what the issue was, how you dealt with it, how you resolved it, and if you couldn't resolve it, maybe what you did then. Did you put it up the chain? So that's technical information unit. I don't want to blow your minds with this, guys, right? So this goes on now to the next unit, which is all about the first fix. So this is going to be, first fix and design. And again, some of the jargon speak like they all start with health and safety. So use documentation to confirm that materials and equipment is of the correct quantity and free from damage. So this is evidence of pre-installed checklists. Is a great way of giving evidence. Manufacturer's instructions, delivery notes also cover this criteria, and explanations or photos of what you check of you checking the equipment is a great way to back this up. Focus on the British standard of the equipment, the kite mark maybe, and the IP rating to ensure that it's correct for the external influences it may be subjected to. So that jargon means that, right? And the whole basis of this book is basically that, right? I've taken the jargon, I've put it into plain English for you, and I'm hoping that for every unit, it helps you then understand. This is the Kindle version. In the actual book version, the red writing isn't there because there's not enough pages in the book. So there you go. So that's what the book is. That's what it's about. It's taking the jargon, making it into plain English, and giving you a really good idea of what they're actually looking for, as opposed to the jargon speak that we actually currently get, right? And I'm really hoping this helps. So thanks very much for your time. And if you do buy it, thanks very much. And if you do like it, when you buy it, if you could please share it for me, get it out there to as many people as possible, that would be amazing too. Thank you ever so much.